Hello everyone, welcome back to Major Arcana Month, where we are exploring every single card in the Major Arcana. This is up as a playlist on my YouTube, so if you'd like easy access to all of them as you're learning the tarot, head over to the playlists in YouTube and you will have all of these videos at your fingertips. Okay, so we're continuing today with the Death card. Grab your note-taking material, I'm diving right in. So lots of imagery to unpack here, and it's really rich and juicy. So we see a skeleton, Skeletor, in armor, red feather, holding a flag with a white rose. This is important. On a white horse, there's the sun setting between two pillars, which we've seen before. We see there's a religious figure who is not sure, are we welcoming death? Are we begging with death? Are we compromising? But there is a religious figure who is facing death. We have a woman on her knees who, to me, looks very much like the figure in the Strength card, on her knees, face away from death, but okay, this kind of like surrendering, reluctant acceptance. There is a child actually offering death flowers. And the only person who's fully knocked asunder is the king. So you see this king on his stomach, and you see the crown knocked off this figure's head. So what does it all mean? So we've seen the white rose, and we've also seen this red feather in the Fool card. So now we have symbolism linking us back to the Fool. Remember, the Fool is this card of authenticity, of leaps of faith, of leaning into the unknown. In the Fool, we're kind of like joyfully jumping into it. In the Death card, we are releasing that which doesn't serve us. So it does have this sense of like endings or transitions, but it is so that we can be more in alignment with that purity of spirit, the purity of our true selves, which is why it is the child, the person you always were before the world told you who you were supposed to be. That little being that's still within you welcomes this, because that being is like, yes, that's right. I am not like a corporate bully. I'm actually an artist. You know what I mean? That part of you welcomes this card because you're just like, yes, do away with the mean Mr. King who has been pretending to be something that we're not and trying to lock us into this life that isn't right for us. So that part of us is welcoming it, which is, again, is very akin to the Fool, right? This kind of joyful, this joie de vivre. But our ego is like, because we don't like ego doesn't like things that are out of our control, and that is the unknown. And death is the ultimate unknown. It is the ultimate mystery and the ultimate surrender. But here again with the Death card, I've been reading tarot for a very long time, and I've done like thousands of readings. This very rarely means physical death. More than anything, I've seen it, and I really mean this, like, more than anything, I've seen this card represent just things we have to let go of, parts of our personality that we've outgrown, and also facing some uncomfortable truths about ourselves that we have to release. So this gets even more interesting if we are to view this as a possible reference to the first stage in alchemy, which is called calcination. I have not read this. This is just my own kind of studies, and I'm making these connections, so I could be wrong. But I have found it helpful. I've shared this with other people who find it helpful, so I'll share it with you. The first stage in alchemy, is the art and science of turning lead into gold. In spiritual alchemy, we're working with our energies, our spirit, our beliefs, our thoughts, these kinds of things, to turn the lead, which is, it is like what blocks us from kind of the light of our sun, our gold, our truest, most authentic self and spirit, our most authentic expression of who we're meant to be in this lifetime. So the lead is still seen as sacred because it's the material with which we are working to turn it into gold. And within the lead is the gold. So we still honor these parts of ourselves, the illusions, the fears, the blocks, that's really anything that's out of integrity with who we're really meant to be in this lifetime. Our gifts, our true self, all of these things. So in alchemy, calcination means to reduce to calcination is where we're reducing something to bone, reducing something to ash, but skeletons is a common symbol of it. So here we have a skeleton. What's more is that the white rose is an alchemical symbol, which we've seen before. Another thing that links this to calcination is one way we talk about calcination in alchemy is that it's sacrificing our king for the benefit of our soul. So this king, this inner king, the crown is knocked off. This symbol of authority is knocked off. And really in this card, like, death is the great equalizer, right? It comes for everyone. definitely we can practically make arguments that having access to resources and privileges helps you prolong life, but at the end of the day, like, death comes for us all. So there is this sort of sense of like equality here. Change and surrender comes for all of us, and you can fight it and get knocked on your ass, or you can welcome it and your true self can welcome it. Really interesting stuff. Yeah, and then we got that sun setting. We see the two pillars. So remember, pillars in tarot is a gateway, it's a transition. We saw this in the High Priestess, in the Hierophant, and in Justice. What you'll notice here is that in the former three cards I just mentioned, the pillars are like within a room, and now these pillars are like within this big sky, this big expanse. So there's definitely something about here, what we're experiencing, that is connecting us to some of the mysteries of life, the bigger mysteries of the universe and the cosmos. Pretty cool stuff, hey? So when you pull this card, this is about calcination is the stage in which you were just being really honest about our beliefs or our thoughts or our habits, just things we're doing where we know it's not in integrity with who we really are. We know it's not that class. We know it's holding us back. We know there's something that has to change. And in death, we acknowledge it, we face it, and we sacrifice the part of ourself that wants to cling, that wants to force, that wants to resist change, and that wants to control everything. We lean into that inner child that welcomes change, and that inner child that's like, set me free. I want to do this. So this could be endings, but and this card can be painful. I'm not trying to soften it and like patronize you at all, but I do find that sometimes the imagery in tarot, people get pretty scared, and I found over and over again, it's often not as scary as you think it is. I cannot guarantee that it's not, right? But by and large, this is a card of the death of the control that ego has on our lifetime. Okay, my friends. By the way, a few more fun facts. That white horse, you're going to see it again in the Sun card, as well as the Child. So cool. And also in the Six of Wands. Look for the links between the tarot cards, because they will teach you about each other. Okay, my friends, so we've got transformation, death and rebirth, releasings, endings, but again, all of these things that need to go. Lastly, if we're going to look at the bones, not only as a calcination link potentially, but also as getting to the bones of getting to like the heart of it, like the no nonsense. We're letting go of everything else. So this is a card of personal transformation. Okay, my friends, thank you so much for being here. I hope this was helpful, and we'll see you next up with Temperance.